Hi guys, you're in the right place if you want to learn how to paint cookies by using food gels. And today I'm going to be using this daisy cookie. It's almost 4 inches across. And since my focus over the next little while is going to be birds, I'm going to paint this blue jay on this cookie. So I've got my 2 pots of clean water, a little bit of vodka. I've got my brushes, the Kleenex to wipe off my brush, my Wilton food gels, a little bit of Wilton white, and I'm basically ready to go. So what I wanted to show you is what I was doing yesterday, messing around, trying to figure out really like what I wanted my focus to be. And it was clear to me after doing these two that this is not going to be my focus. So I wanted to show you these anyway because there were a couple of things that I liked. I did really like these flowers. They were super quick and super easy to do. I had my filbert, and this is a filbert 10. I had it loaded with this very, very, very pale pink. This one here. So the whole brush was loaded with this pale pink, and while it was loaded, I just dabbed the bristles, the end of the bristles, into solid pink gel. And then, since you know that the bristles are going to leave that dark pink behind, you just decide on how you want to make your petals. And you get this very beautiful, I think, effective streak. And I should have done the same with the greens, but I was, anyway, too upset about the bird. So that's for that one. Now this, what I wanted to show you about this one is really to emphasize the value of the importance of mixing the white, the Wilton white, in with the food gels, because it allows you to do quite a bit of layering. So when I started this bird, I just wanted to do something simple, and I did him all yellow with some tan accents. I didn't like it. I put in more tan to make him brown. I didn't like it. And then I just thought, forget it. I'm just going to cover them all with the blue. And, so, but you can't tell. You can't really tell that there's a whole bunch of layers underneath this. So it is a really effective way of correcting your mistakes and changing your mind as you go along when you're doing your paintings. So that's my new go-to right now. I'm using Wilton white mixed in with my food gels all the time now, and hopefully I'm going to be able to get this blue jay on the cookie. So I just wanted to talk about this a little bit. It's from a calendar cover, and whenever I'm doing a bird or an animal or whatever, I always work from a reference photo, because otherwise it's just a big bloody disaster, and I don't know what I'm doing, which is, the case most of the time. So I just want you to know that it's important for me, it's important to work from a reference photo. And there's a lot of free images that you can get off the internet. And if actually I belong to a number of bird groups, and if there's a photograph that I like, I always ask the artist if I can use it, and they usually say yes. So I don't want you to think I'm a bloody genius if this turns out great and just like, oh my God, she painted that blue jay all by herself. It's like, no. So how do I want to start? I'm just going to use, I probably am not going to be able to talk while I paint, because I'm just going to be like concentrating so much. There's a couple of things to decide. Obviously, he's going to have to be scaled down extensively. This branch right here is going to determine the angle of the bird on the cookie. So I have to decide where I want to put this branch and what angle I want to do it at, and how I want the orientation of the face, the shoulders, a little bit of the chest through the cookie. And how much of the bird I want, how big I want him to be. So all this scaling stuff is what I'm going to have to figure out as I do, well, ideally before I do my outline. But the point is, if I do my outline and it's too small, I can make it larger. If it's too big, I can try to lift off the border and bring the sketch in a little bit. So when I start, I'm going to be using a really pale tan. So I just want to make sure, double clean my brush. Oh, have I said anything useful yet? No, because I still haven't decided if I'm just going to have a small amount of the branch here, and the shoulders, the head, and the bill. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. No, I have this very, very, very pale brown, and so this is like super light. I'm actually going to add a little drop of vodka to my palette to thin this down a little bit so that the brush doesn't leave such a heavy mark, such a thick line. Now I'm going to have to try to be clever about this because the angle of the beak always determines the angle of the head. So if I want to have him with this up, why don't we just, it's not like I've got 5 other cookies that I can put this on. And you know what? I just want to have this down for a second. Have it a little bit more like my pen, and just try to do something here. The thick bill for cracking all the seeds they catch. And then the slope to the forehead. It's the forehead, the top of the head, to the crown, and then the feathers under the throat. Nice turn to the head. And almost right into how he is sloping at his back. And then the fluffy feathers off the chest. This is the crest, which I'll leave for now. I want to have the feathers coming in over the bill. He's got some ice particles hanging off there. We've got the distinctive black marking in front of the eye. have this, get this in with my brush to help keep me oriented around his face. And this, that's that dark. This is the split between the upper and the lower bill. I put that in to help me stay oriented. This part of his mouth comes back and joins up with this patch, dark patch in front of his eye. Just reloading my brush with a little bit of the tan. Now we've got this should be, I'm going to put in his eye. And we've got this very distinct curve here, and then bring this down because it's a flat side shot. The big lens, big black border for the tissue around his eye. This black marking continues up his forehead. There is more black in front of his eye. And it also bumps into his bill. Comes down around his face a little bit, and then there is the eye band, carries to the back, and then we're picking up the black at his the distinctive blue jay black band. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. So we've got his throat, goes the chest, we've got the crest here. This we're going to carry up to the back of the head. Keep an eye on my distances here. Bring this black band in a little bit. A bit more coloring. And then this comes down. He's got his chest marking, which is also quite distinct. This bib that eases into the black. This is all his bib. I'm putting in the primary markings to help me stay oriented throughout the sketch. And if you're interested in this method of learning by understanding what you're looking at rather than breaking things down into shapes, I'd be delighted if you joined me over on my art channel. So this is heading back into the back of his head. And this very distinct black band, and then this is all dark, and the crust is broken up. Now at the back of the neck, we'll just see how far we've got the curve to the back of the neck. And then right into his shoulder. Just watch my angles here. Maybe pull this out a little bit more. Drop this shoulder down. More like that. And we're getting into part of his wing. The chest band comes through, and there's more broken feathers because he has his head turned. This goes this way, top of the shoulder, and we're going at here. So what this is going to lead into, let's see, make sure I'm happy with these angles, because this is the base, this is catching part of his wing. And these are long chest feathers, and then we're going to have a foot. Let's just get some markings in here. Okay, let's just down a little bit. This is all gray and shaded, and these are the fluffy feathers on his chest, which are gray. Blue jays have two big bands of gray on their chest, and the white in the center like a shield. And then we're going to be able to see this one foot. So we're going to have the toes, wing, the foot would be just about here, but I do want to put in toes here, and we can put the branch like this. This is going to be our branch. These will be our toes. We've got the loose feathers around here. And then just bring through the gray feathers on his chest. Watch our angle here as we come off his shoulder. Switch up this border a little bit. We've got the sun shining through the way he's lit. So, and then what we'll do is, like, I'm pretty happy with just want to add a little bit more of a curve and a bit more, and then this crest, take this out. Just watch that some feathers aren't sticking out further than they should be. And if I've made him too narrow through the head and the neck, which is kind of looking that way for me right now, I can switch up that angle. Okay. Now, this is good. So now what I'm going to do is switch over to the black. I'm still going to use this narrow, this little brush that I'm using. Oh, that's probably too many drops of vodka into the black. black here because I just want a little, I don't want the black to be runny or too diluted at all. Let's just get in. Oh, you know what, you guys? I don't like this yet. I'd rather have the stability. Okay, so there is quite a thick membrane of tissue around the eyeball that is dark black. So I want to get this in. And then the lens in the eye is also black. I'm going to leave, it's quite a large, let's tidy up this border a little bit. And I want to leave his okay, now the marking in front of the eye is also black. Goes up and almost to the bridge of his nose. Get some of that in. And then the band off his eye. Is black. Just take this band a little bit. Once I'm happy with the placement of everything, this type of work I could do with a larger brush, but for now I just want to get some of the finer lines down. And then see here, because I do think I want to change the angle at the back of the head a little bit. Thicken this up right at the back of his neck. This should all be solid black, which I'll do. And then bring this down onto his chest a little bit. I might as well just use the black. So this is pretty much it for the darker colors, or the and then this is kind of like gray. I just want to pull this up. Put a slight curve to your lines if you can, because they're, well, see, that's forgivable. And then this, what I'll do is I'll probably shade this in more because it's kind of like a grayish in the photo. And just to get some of the, since I'm done with my brush anyway. Okay, this is all right. I think I'm going to stick with this brush. because I can do the finer work. Now, see how he's like purple in here? So it's almost like it's worth it to me to work with those purple tones, and then just see how it comes through on the cookie, and then use a darker, put the blue over top. So this is purple, Wilton white, and a little bit of vodka. And what I'm going to do is just like get down some of his markings around his face. And then these areas I can do with the blue on top later. Because there's lots and lots and lots of purple tone in the photograph. And that's just the way the lighting is picking things up. It's more gray. And then through here at the back of the neck. This angle more. And then a better, just at the top of the shoulder. And this chest, upper chest band is more black. Put the black in through there with the purple and the blue underneath. Some fairly pale coloring through here. And the upper chest. And then this is all gray. We are getting down into the wing. There's a lot of loose gray feathers over top of that. And we'll do the shading around the foot and his tummy a little bit later. So now let's figure out which blue is going to be the best. And Wilton makes actually a bunch of different blues. And I know royal blue is not the one that I want today. So there's a delphinium blue and a cornflower blue and whatnot. It would be nice if there was just, oh, this looks too pale. Anyway, let's see what happens. And I don't want anything too bright. This is a better shot, this one, I think. I don't know, I kind of would like, I'd prefer like a denim blue, and I'm not sure that this is, it's a bit too heavy. Let's go to this paler one. just work on getting the crust. Maybe now I can put them back on my little turntable. Just help me. Oh, actually, you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to put in the gray. So I'm just going to work until I get this blue off my brush. And because if I have the gray done, then I can figure out like all around his face and his chest. And then it'll help me figure out how I want to color in that blue. So I've just put quite a bit. It's interesting how the Wilton white interacts with the different food gels. It ain't all the same. So with the black, the Wilton white, and the vodka, let's just see how this kind of like shows up with this. Oh, that's pretty good. Have a bit more gray around his face. So I'm going to touch up with some black in a bit. Some of the eye bands. There's more black that's in front of the eye, which I'll add, and on the cheek. This is more black. On the bill, let's go through his face, put in some of the gray. And then without it being too clumpy, let's get some of this. This is not the effect that I want with this. I wonder if a lighter brush or something like this one, this fuzzy thing here. Oh, I better clean it off. Picked up a bunch of gray on this. Take off a little bit. Is what I'd like is this is maybe better. Let's get some of the, oh, of course there's some thing of dust on my Kleenex, so it's helpful. Now this little thing of dust is bugging me. Anyway. See this string that came from my Kleenex? There we go, got it. Get some of these feathers along the chest as the throat. So I'm worried that that's going to be too much paint. So let's just loosen this off a little bit. I'd say I'm borderline in trouble with the way this is looking because I'm not happy with this at all. But we ain't done, so don't despair. And here, get a little bolder with the black. Through the eye band. There's black. And it comes through this. Okay, let's just add a bit more detail around his eye. And since I've got black on my brush, just take some of this off. And I think I'd better go back to using a deeper blue and yeah, I better use a deeper blue to color them up so that there's that, just that purple tone underneath. It's not quite so prominent. And I've switched to a 2. Get the blue and the black through here. And it's the back of the neck and out in the chest. And around for the shoulder, which is picking up the wing. And since I've got this blue on my brush, if there's any God, lots to fix, you guys. Lots and lots and lots to fix. So I just want to start by toning down to get some, just get some more white around his face where the light is. Just take out this, tone him down a little bit. Break up this gray on his chest, which is too heavy. It's a bit heavy here too, and I'm just using straight Wilton white to tone this down. And since the 2 is kind of covering the amount of space that I want, I'm just going to use the 2 to get this chest band a little better. Defined. And then mixing up this these dark eyebrows. Not eyebrows, you know what I mean. Feathers that are around the mouth and the eye. Let's get some different definition, better depth, and just need to lighten this off a little bit. And then, since I've got the brush and I've got the black, might as well do his toes. The ones that we can see. It's with the couple here, the longer claw. And I'll use the brown, I think, to just as a bit of a contrast for the branch. Run this through basically everything. Around his foot, his body here. Okay. So now I think it's totally time to do some. Let's just run through them, fix them up. Get them looking respectable. And maybe even using a little bit of vodka to blend them out. He's not quite so rough looking. And I think I want to get rid of this tan here. Break up the crest feathers a little bit if I want to. And then there's a little slight variation with the way these feathers are lying on his chest. At the side of his throat. Let's break that up a little bit. Toning them down, especially where that gray went too heavy. Now my brush is clean. I always have 2 spots of clean water, and now I'm just dipping directly into the vodka. And cleaning my brush, picking up a little bit more vodka. Not a lot, we don't want them to get muddy. Just blending them out a little bit so it doesn't look so fractured. Taking out some of these borders and stuff. Now I can do a much better job around his face. So he's got a lot of little whiskers here. So we're just gonna add those in with probably this one. And some very light. That's the best way to do this. They're actually fairly long. There's quite a few random dark feathers around his eye as well. The brush is okay, we can do that as well too. Let's get these markings in. And on the bottom eye ring does have this darker border to it. And there are some smaller black feathers. That are coming down past the mouth and out onto the cheek. down his throat as well. And I would like to use a little bit of the black to messy up these loose feathers that are above his eye. Here's the blue that I used. Let's take off a little bit of the, just add this. Let's fix this angle a little bit up to his bill. And then with the black, just take off, fix this border. The eye band is quite big. I didn't know the blue jays were such messy birdies. Now, there is quite a distinctive orange, dark, sort of brown tinge to the lens. So I'm going to be very, very careful and picking up just a little bit of this, I think it's more like a copper, and just not putting on very much color at all. And I'm just going to carefully put this around. And leave a white spot where the light is reflecting off the lens. Now I just want to have a better look at the proportions and whether or not, see my, if I just want to probably messing around too much. Let's take out that tan a little bit for his outline. Let's see if he's got enough of a lean, because that's what, it's the angle of the bill. Just trying to put that up, take it out a little bit. Now he is pretty upright. That's actually not too bad. I don't know if this blue is like completely too different, but little bit of it in here. I think this is the cornflower blue. I'm just using it to change the angle of his shoulder and his wing here. Also, it looks like he's got more of a lean. And I can use this cornflower blue. To darken there. They tend to be, there's very big birds, super thick through the neck, the shoulder, the chest. Anyway. I'll put some of this right at the back. So this is just the food gel and the vodka. There's no Wilton white in with this cornflower blue. Fill out his crust a little bit more. Well, gosh, compared to how he looked 5 minutes ago, when I thought I was in real trouble. He's kind of turned out okay. Let's see if I can just, without making this too much of a clump. So, you know, like when you're working, figuring out the subject is one thing, getting comfortable with your brushes and what you can do with them is another, and then figuring out how to manipulate the paints, the gels, and then, you know, it's kind of cool what you can do. And then everybody can call you insane for spending all this time painting a cookie. I want to take out this white. on this end of his eye bit, because that tissue is actually quite a bit larger. Put that in there instead. I just have some black on my brush, so I'm just gonna clean it off by adding it to his chest. What's this random line here? Okay, you guys. I think he's done. Wasn't that a lot easier than painting a flower? What the hell? Oh my god, there's a great big drop of vodka on his head as soon as I'm done the painting. Oh, too funny. Too funny. Well, is that a sign that I should have stopped like 10 minutes ago? Probably. Oh, that's classic. Dear me. He won't last in the rain. Well, I better not do that again. A great big drop of water. That's on his cheek as well. That's too funny. Well, I didn't see that one coming. Anyway. Sorry, I just saw one thing. I don't know if this is going to work with this. But there's a... Oh, I should use a gray. Anyway. Okay, I think I am going to just stop. But I want to try this one thing here because he's got a lot of... Nope, that's too dark. Better be careful with what I do. There we go. That's what I want. He's got all these little fluffy feathers coming off his chest and out into the breeze. He's got some over here too. Oh man. Okay. Well, I enjoyed your company. I hope I didn't put you off too much by being like so kind of intense with what I wanted to paint today. But anyway, hanging out, relaxing, and making something for lunch. Cookie with a bird on it. Well, you guys, I think that's more than enough for today. Thank you so much for your company. I'll see you next time.